Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 14, Chapter 28. Why This College? Part 1 of 2. Satyam, truth, is to be adored and adhered to. It is the highest goal to be won by sadhana. So too is Shantam, peace and equanimity. Truth, the principle of truth, is immanent in every being. Knowing this, the seeker or the student has to be loving and friendly with every living being. This is the message of the scriptures of all lands. When we examine the life and behavior of animals labeled as lower, we can learn many lessons for our own betterment. The elephant, the cow, and the deer do not harm or wound or eat other animals. They live on leaves or grass or grain. They lead sattvic, pure lives. Therefore they receive reverence and worshipful homage of man. On the other hand, the tiger, the leopard, and the wolf have cruel natures. They hurt other animals. They eat up the animals they kill. As a consequence, man is ever trying to keep these rajasic animals at a distance. Man prides himself as the crown of creation. It is a rare piece of good fortune to be born as a human animal. We all agree with this statement. His is really a holy, sublime, and beneficent role. How then can cruelty, hatred, and violence pollute his heart, which is the center of compassion, love, justice, and equanimity? How has he fallen from the sattvic heights of divinity to the depths of rajasic qualities like ungratefulness, vengefulness, and vandalism? Students are embodiments of unpolluted love. Imagine the terror caused among the cattle when a tiger or leopard or wolf enters their shed. They struggle in confusion and undergo fearsome panic until they are felled and eaten. So too, Rajasic traits of character relish destroying the sattvic virtues in man. Students, you are embodiments of unpolluted love. The heart of man has to be saturated with pure feelings, clean impulses, and selfless urges towards service of living beings. Do not, at this stage of your lives, soak it in hate, cruelty, and other evil qualities. At present, boys and girls of your age live without awareness of the suffering of others. You are, it can be said, blind and deaf. When a man in agony stands before a blind man and wails, the blind man remains unmoved, since he cannot grasp the tragedy. When someone in distress recites his story and appeals for help, the deaf man is not affected at all. When you see the suffering of others or listen to their wailings and yet remain unsympathetic and unresponsive, you can justifiably be called blind and deaf. Often you yourselves cause injury or mental agony to others. You exult in the humiliation or exploitation you cause. You revel in mean tactics to insult others. Since your hearts are full of low desires, they do not react when the hearts of others call out for comradeship. To set right this sorry state of affairs, you have to cleanse and polish the heart into a clean mirror. A mirror reflects all that is before it, the misery, the poverty, the helplessness. But if the mirror is overlaid thick with the dust of ego, it cannot reflect the sadness, yearning for relief. When the heart is clean and clear, it will receive correct impressions on the struggles of your parents, the problems of society, and anxieties that pester the country. Students are multiplying their problems. But consider what students are contributing today. Instead of resolving problems, they are multiplying them. Far from alleviating suffering, they are worsening it. They have themselves become sources of anxiety. They are becoming blind to the sacrifice their parents make. They forget the hopes their families, society, and the nation place upon them for future progress and prosperity. Many who have come to this college are blind to the purposes for which this college has been established, which is to shape generations of students with holy ideals and pure hearts filled with love. In the name of education, you spend your time reading trivialities, writing trash, and accepting experiences second hand. You do not seek to have elevating first hand experiences yourselves. The physics, chemistry, or mathematics that you learned at college have no practical validity so far as your daily activities are concerned. In the laboratory, you learn that oxygen and hydrogen constitute water, but when you are thirsty during lunch at home, you cannot put the two together and drink the result. You have to drink water as prepared by natural forces. For living out your years in peace and harmony, you have to develop common sense and master general knowledge. Poring over books or cramming formula will not help. Education must teach you the goal of life. It is foolish to believe that you have to be educated since it leads to jobs. At present, education is oriented to jobs, to secure a living, not to lead a life. True education must teach what life really is and what its goal should be. It must purify the heart and clarify the vision. It must keep the hand, heart, and head free from harmful habits that damage the individual, society, and the nation. It must promote virtues and raise the moral and spiritual standards of the educated. In the times gone by, universities were referred to as the homes of humility, since humility was the characteristic of an educated person. Pride is the root of aggressiveness. It is the nature of wild animals. But the mark of man is humility in the presence of elders, teachers, and parents. There is an ancient axiom which says, education imparts humility. Humility ensures credibility. Credibility brings wealth. Wealth induces charity. Charity confers peace and joy here and hereafter. Nowadays, all educational institutions emphasize is the need for riches. Become wealthy through the easiest and quickest methods. That is the slogan. No effort is spent to inculcate humility and reverence, for they are won through discipline alone. Without discipline and self-control, man reduces himself to the level of the beast. The stomach is not the central core of man. End of part 1 of 2. Sathya Sai College, Brindavan, July 19th, 1979.